population in which the Indigenous, the poor and the mentally ill are overrepresented. Where isolation, humiliation and degradation are facts of life. Welcome to prison.
It depends who's telling the story, I suppose. The prisoners would have one view, the people who work in the prison system would have another, and I think it's up to people to decide where the truth is.
Give government propaganda and the media spin doctors the flick. And check out Doin' Time for news, views and tunes on prison issues from Guantanamo Bay to Christmas Island to prisons and detention centres everywhere. Every Monday at 4 p.m. on your community radio 3CR.
We are still fired up and we're still talking about revolution.
Hello and welcome to the Doin' Time Show. This is 3CR Community Radio, 855 AM on the dial, streaming live on www.3cr.org.au. Today on the show, we are going to be paying tribute to Uncle Ray Jackson, who was a tireless fighter for Australian and other First Nations peoples and an uncompromising internationalist and socialist, holding up a mirror to settler colonialist violence in all its national and global ramifications. And a warning that there will be lots of audio, images and names of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people that have died. First up on the show, we're going to be speaking with Carolyn Jackson, and Carolyn Jackson is the daughter of Ray Jackson, who is the Wiradjuri leader and warrior. So we'll be speaking with her first, and then after that we will speak with Auntie Lizzie from Isja in Sydney. And Ray actually founded Isja and did lots of really amazing work during that time. He died on the 23rd of April 2015, and he was born in 1941. And that's a long life, and we'll be showcasing his work today and having a look at a lot of the amazing things that he's done. And we're speaking now with Carolyn Jackson. Hello, welcome to the program.
Oh, hi. Good afternoon, Marisa. Thank you for inviting me. How are you?
Good, thank you. Pretty good. Yeah, and yourself?
Yes, I'm really, really good. Thank you very much. Especially today because I'm a grandmother again. So, just had a beautiful baby girl yesterday. So, so I'm on a high at the moment. Tired, but I'm on a high.
Congratulations.
So, same time. Thank you so much.
Oh,
thank you.
Ray would have been proud. I'm sure he's watching from wherever he is.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure he is. He will be very, very proud. Also, too, about 4 months ago or so, we had another member of the family, another grandchild, a great-grandchild, and he was the boy. So first boy out of that lot. So they would have been really, really, really proud. So, he would have been proud regardless. But I think this one would have been a little bit extra special. So, so I'm pretty sure he's watching over us.
Absolutely.
Emotional, a happy time.
Absolutely. And, it's come to that time again, hasn't it? I always feel really sad around this time, to be honest.
Yes, we do. I mean, it was only Dad's birthday on the 27th of March, so that was another birthday. He would have turned 80. So that was a very sad day. Him not being around, counting years, his 80th birthday would have been. So, and now this time of the passing of his death, which is, 5 years on the 23rd, like you said. So it feels only fresh. It feels like it's only yesterday. But
oh, no.
But Lexi's legacy still goes on, and people are still out there fighting, getting justice for families, and which is, which is good. It feels like he's, all that hard work and energy, and it's paying off for, especially for those families that are still trying to find justice. So, he's still around us, even with that movement going on, which is just fantastic. So, You know,
that's great.
makes it more, feels like he's around giving people, you know, strength and in a spiritual way, I guess. So, yeah.
Very much so. And in fact, what I found really moving, Carolyn, was when we had the Deathscapes launch, I believe it was 2 years ago now.
Yes, that's right, exactly, yes.
Can you tell us about that?
Okay, well, it was a website that Dad started with other people that were involved as well. One of them was Joseph. I was trying to pronounce his last name. He's a really good friend of ours.
Yeah.
That's it. I don't want to disrespect him by saying
no, not at all. He couldn't make today, actually.
No, yes, he's yeah. So him and his other people actually finished the site, which is a tool that to be used in criminal law in universities, in justice on the other side, not just on the authority side when it comes to the police. It's the other side that's the truth, and actual footages and information that's out there that's exposed but not being used as evidence.
Yeah.
So it's given people an eye opening of the other side of justice. So that should be done. And but it's a great website. If anyone wants to look into that website, it's so educational. It's so moving, and it's so at the same time it lists a lot of people, a lot of beautiful people that were unfortunately, that died in custody. So so it's a very good website, and one that Dad would have been so proud of. But yeah, that launch was fantastic. It was really, really good. It was very educational. Educational was very you were educated, and I think it was an eye opener for a lot of people. So, and I think this is the reason why a lot of people are changing now. People are starting to see, and especially what's going on around the world now. You know what I mean? The deaths in custody. They've been witnessed on live stream. So how can that be totally ignored?
Well, black people are being killed in America, like George Floyd,
exactly.
And it's awful.
Exactly, but look, we're still waiting. Well, we're still waiting for that. See what happens there and that outcome of that. But but these people have to be accountable. They've got to be held accountable. You can't just. And this is like you said. This has been going on for hundreds and hundreds and thousands of years. I mean. Geez, ever since they first landed here, I mean, when we were raped and murdered and I mean, and how's anyone supposed to pass that when it's still carrying on to this day with people, with these people getting killed in custody and, and, it's just terrible.
It is. And what's the Deathscapes website, in case people want to have a look?
Oh, good question. Okay,
I think it's here we go, www.deathscapes.org.
Deathscapes, that's it.
That's it. And this particular website really looks at, it's got a lot of different sections, doesn't it, Carolyn? Looking at deaths in custody, and it actually documents deaths in custody. Not just of Aboriginal people, but also of asylum seekers and refugees as well.
Oh, that's right. Exactly, it does. It shows all that. It shows them in footages and evidence of, of these unjust that was done to these people. So, but it's a very, very good website. So if anyone wants to jump on and have a look, it's very moving as well. So it gives you the real insight of, it's like as if you're there. So...
Yeah, I've had a look at it, actually. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's really, really good. It's a very good website. One, like I said, one that Dad will be very, very, pleased about. And like I said, that's still at least, it's out there and it's being used now. It's not something that's just talked about. It's actually out there. It's being used as still in universities. I mean, how amazing is that?
It is amazing.
Yeah, so anyone it's really good.
It's pretty fantastic. And also, I think what the aim of the show today is really to celebrate Ray's life, and there's so many different ways of doing that. And with the COVID, it's so difficult now, isn't it, to organise things?
Yeah, because usually every year on his anniversary, we have everyone gets together and to remember Dad and his work, and as a family, as a father. Not just president of the Isja, but also too, he was also, he cared for a lot of people, and he would go out of his way, and he was so tireless. He was so selfless. He would just be there to support families and do anything he can to fund families to get to, to see their other members of families, legal advice, and just the fight. He just fought for them, and until his death. He actually did it till his death when he signed off his last email at 11 o'clock at Isja, and the next morning he was gone. So he was sick at the end with pneumonia, but he still was out there doing what he loved doing, and, it was just the type of man he was. And,
But you know what a lot of people don't say, and this is something that I haven't said before because maybe listeners may think it's too negative, but I think this year I'm going to say it, and that is that even though people are fighting for justice, there's been a serious gap left since Ray passed away. A serious gap in the work. We have to be honest here. I'm not saying that there are not some amazing Aboriginal elders out there. There are. There are some great activists. I'm not saying that. But Ray's writing and activism were absolutely unique. And I'll be honest with you, Carolyn, sometimes I'll even pick up the phone to ring him. I've still got his old number.
Yeah.
I do. I pick up the phone. I go to call him. And then, oh, my God, he's not here. And I feel like an idiot. I hang up the phone. I think he's not here, Yes,
that's right, exactly.
He did a lot of media, didn't he?
Yes, he did a lot of media with NITV, and also on your show, audio on your show, and also too with SBS. A lot of it was to do with, when he was awarded the Human Rights Medal from the French government. He was so proud of that moment. Yes, and but he did a lot of radio shows and that just mainly, putting his, I don't know, I'm looking at his picture now.
Yeah.
So, so I'm looking at his picture now and also the poster that we've got, they did a poster for Dad to celebrate people's history.
Of course.
Poster that was done for Dad, in honour for Dad. And, it's just, he was a proud Aboriginal activist. He was a father, grandfather, great-grandfather, unionist, wharfie, feminist, internationalist, organiser, and, over so many years, Dad dedicated himself to movements, fighting to hold the powerful to account and to bring justice to the denied, so.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
And I suppose also, Carolyn, and also listeners as well, I just wanted to take this opportunity to, while we're talking, just to tell listeners what Ray covered on this show, because he did a lot. He covered stolen generation, forced closures of Aboriginal communities, Invasion Day and Aboriginal deaths in custody, and he took special care also to speak in solidarity with women in prison, refugees and asylum seekers. And he also did the passport ceremony too, didn't he, Carolyn? Didn't he create that?
He did too. Yes, that's right. That was the passport ceremony. That was for, people were welcome on Aboriginal land, and didn't matter what you were, didn't matter as long as, there was respect. That's all that Dad wanted, was just respect and, treat people equally. So of all ways. So so that was one of his proudest moments as well. Was that as well, and the passport ceremony was was a real good achievement. That one was a lot of people that attended that. Anyone attended that. I think I've got a couple of those left here, actually, passports.
Really?
Yeah, that Dad had that were left over. So I've still got some of those here as well. That was left when he passed.
Pretty amazing.
So it was definitely amazing. And also, like you said, you got the Death and Custody Watch Committee that he co-founded and president of, which is as Indigenous Social Justice Association, which is Isja. So there's a lot. I don't know what else is out there. I mean, he was just a remarkable man. That
Even on radio, what I found really incredible and very informative as well, Ray had the ability to describe a court case or inquest after there was a death in custody, Carolyn, and he documented the coroner's findings in such detail that it would come alive on radio, and he was able to even dissect autopsies and autopsy finders.
That's right, yeah.
With the precision of a medical examiner. The way that he did, and I'm not exaggerating, Carolyn, the way that he did it, it was like we were at the inquest. The way that he spoke, for example, about Mr. Clark, Mr. Briscoe, and Veronica Baxter, TJ Hickey. He would speak about all this in detail. And then the way that he was persecuted towards the end of his life, I'll never forget how horrible the police were to him.
Yeah. That's right, yeah. Exactly.
But,
they're surely missed, that's for sure. And I think, like you said, there is a big gap in, I think, like you said, with Isja in families, because they trusted Dad.
Yes.
Everyone trusted Dad, and they trusted him with, like, Dad had files on those that had passed away, and those were handed back to their families, because he could not leave them with anybody else, because these families trusted him only. So, and I don't think there'll be anyone that'll be like him. That'll take his shoes. I don't think there ever will be.
No.
Not all the dedication and hard work and, I can't tell you how many hours sleep he would have had a day. Even when he was ill health with pneumonia, he would always visit the tent embassy. The tent embassy in Redfern?
Yeah.
He would make his way up there 4 o'clock in the morning with pneumonia to make sure they were okay, that everyone was, looked after. There was no, interference with the police, and that's how he died, And with pneumonia, walked for miles. He was a diabetic, 74 years of age, not in good health at all, but he did it to the end. So, and when we found him, when he had gone, when he finally rested, it was like his Sophia was asleep, peacefully, and the way he should have went, and he did go, and it was just, and you can see his last note that he signed off with Isja, and it always was signed off with FKJ, which was for Koori Justice.
Yeah.
So, in all of his emails, he always signed off as FKJ. So.
Wow.
And also, and every email that he sent off. So.
Do you know I've got a special folder with heaps of his emails still?
Yeah,
with all his articles?
Probably, yeah.
Carolyn, thank you so much for coming onto the program. And I believe your daughter gave birth last night.
Yeah, sorry, I'm a bit tired. I'm trying to. It's emotional because she had the baby yesterday. It was 3 days in labour, and it was a long, long time to endure that. And for her, and also with Dad, it's an emotional time. So, and a happy time, like I said. So, yeah, but thank you very much for inviting me onto the show today.
Blessings and congratulations, Carolyn.
And thank you so much, and thank you for still remembering him. And let's just hope that the fight for justice is still. I don't want his work just to
to be in vain.
In vain, yeah, that's right. It's got to keep going.
It will, and I'll always remember him.
I know you always do, Marisa. I mean, yeah, you always do, which is I totally respect you for that, and thank you so much. And I know it's coming from your heart. It's not feel like something you have to do. It's something because you love and respect the man, and that's why. So, and what he's fought for.
Always.
So, always. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Carolyn. Take care.
No worries, and I shall. No worries. Thank you.
Oh, what were you going to say?
Bye, Marisa. I was going to say I'll sign off as FKJ.
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 Bye.
All right, thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Bye-bye. And that was Carolyn Jackson, daughter of Ray Jackson, giving a very emotional tribute about her father, his work and his ongoing legacy.
I really am not understanding why people aren't seeing the fact that prisons are an integral part of a public health response to a pandemic. Like you, I'm really concerned about whether the data is being released very honestly about illnesses within prison. I have suspicions it's not, but really we need very strong leadership in this country that actually cares about people inside our most vulnerable populations inside. That's what we need, and that's not what we're getting right now.
We need to keep radical voices on air. Subscribe now.
Go to 3cr.org.au/subscribe or call the station on 9419 8377.
There are many ways that you can keep up to date with 3CR news, events and programs. With Facebook stripping content, it's a timely reminder to focus on the communication channels and platforms that the community controls. The 3CR website is a great spot to catch all your shows via audio on demand or scroll through our range of podcasts. It's also where you can sign up to our monthly newsletter, buy yourself a new t-shirt, or check out archival audio from past broadcasts. Of course, we're also on Twitter at 3CR and Instagram at 3CR Melbourne. But don't forget our mighty AM band. Catch us anytime on 855 AM. Keep in touch. 3cr.org.au.
More than 70 innocent refugees are still being indefinitely detained in detention centres and secure hotels around Australia. Over recent months, many fellow detainees have been released onto bridging visas. Those remaining are desperate to know why they are still held. It is indefinite, it is cruel, and it is unlawful. Every day a group of supporters protest this brutality outside the Park Hotel at 701 Swanston Street, Melbourne, where 11 men remain trapped and whose hopes are fading and whose mental health is declining. The aim of the protests is to raise awareness of the situation for the general public, but also to show support and solidarity to the men inside. It is also for the approximately 200 refugees still held offshore. Please come along any weeknight at 6 p.m. or weekend at 3 p.m.
And you're back with the Doin' Time show. And we previously spoke with Carolyn Jackson about Ray Jackson's amazing work. And next up on the show, we have a very special activist coming up, Indigenous activist, Auntie Lizzie. And Auntie is actually from Isja in Sydney, and she has very kindly agreed to come onto the show and talk about Ray. Hi, Auntie Lizzie. Welcome to the program.
Hi, darling. I'm
not
not exactly an elder or auntie, but thank you for the respect of calling me auntie.
Well, you are a lot older than me. And
thank you for the respect of the years, but I'm an actual elder, so yeah. Make sure
but you're still auntie to me.
That's all good then, darling. No worries. Thank you.
So I'm wondering if you could just talk about Ray and what do you feel about him and about his work?
Wow, where do you start? We're talking about a man that came from being stolen and not knowing who his family were, who his people were, while his father fought for this country and was killed. And then, you know, the government repaid the favour of his father being killed by stealing him from his Aboriginal mother, changing his whole life and heritage. And then for him to find out who he is and to come back and fight for every single, not just Aboriginal rights, he fought for human rights in general, you know. He was an incredible, incredible man. I'm blessed to have ever had him guide me, teach me, let me be a part of his team under Isja, you know, Uncle Ray, as what I call him. He did so many things, like the Aboriginal Death Watch Committee, you know, back in the 90s, where they had an open line where any black fella who could getting in trouble by the police or locked up or anything could call, and literally he would be there on the ground for you, interrogating the police station, making sure you were safe, finding out which watch house you were in, you know, and then to even further that extent to go out for deaths in custody's families, like Auntie Gail Hickey's family. I know for a fact Uncle Ray was prominent in being the main one that made sure TJ's rallies happened every year from Redfern to Parliament House, making sure that young brother's name was never, ever forgotten, making sure Redfern police were always hearing us that we're going to call on accountability, that we're not going to believe it was an accident. And after all, like the coronial inquest and everything that went wrong with that case, it was only for Uncle Ray being so committed to the people, so dedicated to the family that, you know, people know this story now in 2021. Without him being as prominent and as loud and proud and as deadly as he was, a lot of these families, I don't believe, would have the limelight they do today.
Absolutely. So he spent a lot of time doing a lot of the grassroots work so that families could find out about what happened.
Oh, yes, he was on the ground all the time. Like, he had a little tiny one-bedroom flat in Redfern that I remember, Waterloo, actually, I think. And, like, his whole flat evolved around Aboriginal deaths in custody, children being, like, you know, that was the main thing, the injustice against First Nations people, stolen generation, trying to reconnect family with family that they couldn't find, because sadly Uncle Ray, I'm sure he told me a story that didn't get to actually find his biological family.
That's right.
So, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, imagine being an Aboriginal person and being chucked back into the world and not finding your family.
Towards the end of his life, because Ray was actually a permanent guest on our show. He used to come onto the Doing Time show every week, just about, and he would always talk to us about deaths in custody and tell us what was happening with the inquests. And towards the end of his life, Uncle Ray was, as you would know, was persecuted by the police at that time when there was the march about TJ Hickey. Were you there, and can you tell us what happened there? Because the police really dishonoured Uncle, didn't they?
I wasn't that. I don't believe I was at that rally, but I do know the story about like they knew that the power that Uncle Ray had. They seen the power he had, uplifting people and giving family hope and giving them a voice and a platform. And they saw the threat that he was to their system and to the way that they could just get away with sweeping another murder under their rugs and trying to pretend that this didn't happen. And, like, you know, where's TJ's bike? There were so many things that people might not think of, but Uncle Ray made sure he was on top of every single point. So that's why the police came in so hard on him, try and tear apart all the truth he was saying, like trying to make sure this man can't be heard, this man can't be seen. We're going to make sure we interrogate him. We're going to make sure we intimidate him. We're going to make sure we're going to make his life a living hell. But that did not stop Uncle Ray. He kept rising above and above and joining people, and that's how he, like, you know, made Isja for us in Sydney. Now there's in Melbourne. Like, yeah, he's just incredible. And it just shows the power he had by the way the police reacted to him. They were so staunch on him, like, no, we are going to shut you down. But it didn't happen.
Yeah, I believe they took him to court because they wanted him to march in a more secluded part of Redfern for TJ.
Yes. They would. Oh, that's always the way with the police when we try and do marches and rallies, as we know. They always try and dictate the path, dictate the route, make sure we're not seen as much, make sure we're not heard as much, where Uncle Ray would know. You can take me to court, you can, like, and that's why the forefront now of why we have these things called S1 forms, where you have to put a form in, tell the police and notify the police what exactly we are trying to do at a family's rally, at any sort of rally, and it's up to the police to try and come to the table and say, oh, yes, we'll accommodate, where Uncle Ray was like, no, you're not going, we are just going to do this, and this is where we're going to march, this is where we're going to be, take me to the courts, take me to anywhere you need to, but me and the people are still going to do this route, we're still going to march the way we did all the years since TJ passed away.
I felt it was just absolutely disgusting, you know, the way he was treated. Despicable.
Definitely. But you know, but in retrospect now, like, you know, as we look back, as you can see, it was really a sign that the police were losing their power of the community. Like, you know, the police were really realising one great man could stand up and bring community and bring unity and let Australia know this young boy's life meant something. And it's not going to go away quietly, and we will not be bullied, and we will not be pursued in court or anywhere you need to be, take us. Like, you know, Uncle Ray was stolen generation. He'd gone through hell and back already before the police got into his life when he was a grown man.
And let's talk about unity for a minute, because one of the things that I've noticed about Uncle Ray, and I have to be honest, it's very rare, is that he had the ability, tell me if you agree with this, he had the ability to have all peoples together. It didn't matter whether you were an anarchist, a communist, a socialist, whether you were black, blue. He got everybody together without judgment. He didn't exclude anybody. And I think that's what the police were afraid of, that he was able to work with diverse communities.
Oh, definitely, you know. You can see the many photos of Uncle Ray through the rallies and through the streets and organising and mobilising. And you can see, like, of course, there's the First Nations family and the First Nations protesters and that on the forefront too. But you see him with all walks of life, you know, and that was reciprocated even through, I can't remember who it was, but how Isja received money from some, was the French people? Oh, God.
Yeah, the French, Carolyn mentioned that earlier on.
I'm just a little bit shady, but making sure I get the right idea. Oh,
that's okay. Yeah, Carolyn explained it. Yeah.
He received a sum of money from across the world. Because they saw and recognised what he was doing for human rights in general. Like, of course, he was putting Aboriginal lives on his forefront, being an Aboriginal man, but he made sure it didn't stop there. He made sure it reached out to humans. Like, this is not right. Are you happy with how you're treated? No? Well, neither are we. Let's come join together. Let's band together. Let's try and make a real change against this government that sweeps us all now under the same rug.
Yeah, look, it's pretty. It is a bit of a national disgrace, because I don't think Australia's recognised him all that much.
Oh, well, definitely not, you know. Australia's not going to recognise a real, true hero, a warrior, you know what I mean? His father went off to war to fight for the country and was killed. And the government decided to pay the family back, not with a widow's pension, as every other white mother and white wife would receive when their husband was away and got murdered. The government repaid this wife by taking away her children.
Disgusting.
You can definitely tell that Australia will not praise this man as much as he should be. But gratefully, the French people, I can't remember who they were, but they did. And we will forever make sure his name is heard and spoke of, and forever grateful for, like I said, all the paths that he opened for us. Like, as you've mentioned, you know, he worked with Asians, he worked with Indians, he worked with Africans, he worked with the queer community, he worked with, it didn't matter, the communists, the anarchists, it didn't matter. Human. If you were human and your heart beat to the beat of being human, you were welcome in his company. You were welcome to get educated. He would even welcome you to teach him things.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, he was very humble.
Warrior he was, you know. Like, I know for a fact his own blessed family, his own children, they would have missed out on lots and lots and lots of things because of the dedication this man had to give to every other person.
Oh, yeah.
And that just tells you the one, like, you know, just, yeah. Like, when I think about Uncle Ray, my heart just, it swells. My pride swells knowing that I got the chance to meet him, walk with him, talk with him, learn from him, learn with him. It's just a very, 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 an incredible man. And now I know for a fact he's up there being one of the greatest ancestors, still guiding us as up there from the sky, still giving us that fire in our belly to get up every day and keep fighting against this compelling system that is still enforcing its genocide against us.
Genocide is getting worse and worse.
Oh, definitely. We can just have to look at the last 6 weeks where we see 5 Aboriginal deaths in custody in 6 weeks.
Oh, my God.
5 in 6 weeks, and let alone the 30-year anniversary to the RIDIC, which is the Royal... Yeah, well, surely people listening should know what it means. I mean, the Royal Commission of the Deaths in Custody, which happened on the recommendations and findings got passed down to the public on the 15th of April 30 years ago. And then yet before the 15th of April this year, you can count 5 deaths in custody within 6 weeks.
Well, that's why I organised a show for Uncle Ray today, because I thought it was fitting for him to have this memorial show the week after the anniversary show that I did about the Royal Commission last week.
Yep.
And I'm just having a look here at the fact that he also supported the family of the Aboriginal transgender woman Veronica Baxter, another death in custody.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, he stepped out. He made sure if you needed him for any reason, if you could call him, you could literally call this man, even at the later day and age he was, like, you know, a grown elderly man. You could call him day, night, and he would be there assisting you literally within hours or the next day at the latest. And if he couldn't do it, if he wasn't well enough, he'd have one of his people right there at your front door, offering you service, not ringing around, not giving you the run around like, you know, some people these days do. He'd be literally there in the flesh saying, here I am, what do you need? How do we help?
He never passed the buck, never.
Oh, definitely not.
The thing also that was really amazing about Uncle Ray is that I would only have to mention that I wanted to interview an elder, I wanted to interview an activist from the First Nations community, and I get an email that day introducing me and saying, can you go onto the show? Mm-hmm. And it was just really fantastic that he actually built bridges so that we could make this show what it is. Without him, this show wouldn't be what it is.
Oh, yeah. He was the glue that kept a lot of us together, darling. He was like, you know, if you had Uncle Ray on your side or in your team or in your corner or by your side or wherever you needed to have him in your circle, then you knew that everything was going to be okay.
Yeah, I felt safe.
If it wasn't going to be okay, he'd still make you believe it. He'd make you see the hope. He'd make you see forward. Don't be stuck in the now. Don't be stuck in the grief so much. Let's keep fighting. Let's keep fighting. Let's keep breathing. Let's keep walking. Let's keep talking. That was Uncle Ray all over.
Exactly. Lizzie, thank you so much for coming onto the show today. Have you got any final comments about Uncle before we finish?
Oh, dear. I could talk forever, as you can hear.
That's right. Carolyn and I were talking about the passport ceremony.
Yes.
Yeah, were you involved in that?
The Aboriginal passport?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you know, as I'm saying, you know, Uncle Ray went above and beyond. He made sure he would not fit into a box. They took him away for so many years as he was a child, and they denied him everything, and they put him in this box and labelled him this. They took away his birth name. I don't believe Uncle Ray ever found his birth name again for man, you know. And to turn all that trauma around to help other traumatised family, he is, I would call, a living legend. Although he's physically not with us, his spirit is always with us, and it's legendary. It helps me every day get up and raise my 3 young black men. It helps me get up there and help now. I get to step in and be next to Auntie Gail Hickey, next to other families on the forefront, you know, like my cousin's David Dungay. So it's very important that I know that I'm guided in the right path of saying, yes, you know what, Uncle Ray could do it, well then get up, Lizzie, you can do it.
Exactly. Actually, I'm not sure if you know, but I interviewed Paul last week.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I'll send you the link from the podcast if you like.
Thank you very much. I'd love to hear what my nephew's learning and saying. No, but otherwise, final comments is much love and respect going out to all Uncle Ray's family, obviously, on the forefront. And just to know that he will never be forgotten. He's always with all of us. And we thank the family for sharing him with us. As I said, it wouldn't have been easy times of having your father so wrapped up in Aboriginal deaths in custody. He didn't have time to be a hands-on dad as much. But he had time for, but he did have time for his children, but he didn't have, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not just a family guy. he was a family guy to everyone. You could rely on him like I could call him like I was his daughter.
Yeah.
The lady down the road could call him.
Yes.
The man up front could call him. It did not matter. He was there for us. He was there for anyone that needed someone to listen to, someone to be heard, someone to make a noise with, someone to kick in Parliament doors with.
Yep.
He was there. So, yeah, I'd just like to give my thanks and praise and gratitude out to that beautiful man and to his family, and also my sympathies to everyone out there that's missing him like I do.
Thank you so much.
No worries. Thank you very much, darling, for making sure that this man's respected and the story doesn't stop. We continue talking about our legends. Just because they physically leave us doesn't mean we forget them. Doesn't mean we lose their story. We don't lose their hope that they gave us, that they instilled in us.
Absolutely, and that's what today is only one way that things are being expressed about him.
Well, that's beautiful to know. He deserves it. And so.
He does. All right, well, I'm sure we'll be talking again soon. Thanks so much. Take care.
No, Alan, thank you, and take care, everybody.
Thanks.
Yada, yada.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. And that was Lizzie from Isja in Sydney paying tribute to Uncle Ray Jackson, who died on the 23rd of April 2015. It's approximately 4:41. And I just wanted to take this opportunity to just read out a few quick quotes about Ray. The first one was about Veronica Baxter, what he said about her when she died in custody, and it's actually taken from a magazine called Borderlands. This inquiry was a sham. It did not resolve how she died. We saw a whitewash on the 20th anniversary of the Royal Commission into Black Deaths in Custody. After the farce of this inquiry, we then saw censorship of the like I have never seen before in my 20 years of Black Deaths in Custody campaigning. And that was quoted in Community Action Against Homophobia, 8th of April 2011. The other thing I'd like to mention as well is just a couple of things that Ray said about TJ Hickey as well. And this was actually taken from a speech, the memorial speech that I made about the Do and Time show on the 14th of June 2015. And I'll just read out some of it. Uncle Ray was absolutely committed to stop police investigating police and to advocate for transparent, independent investigation when there was an Aboriginal death in custody. During the end of his life, the Do and Time show aired his anger and outrage about how the cops took him to court and tried to label Isja as violent and dishonoured the Hickey family by ruining the march at Redfern. One quote that really stands out for me from one of Ray Jackson's interviews is worth a mention here. He often spoke about the horrific charges that were placed on the Hickey family in 2011. He says, "The mother and father of TJ will not accept the police version that says that the death of TJ was merely some sort of sad accident. It was not. Police chased him and he died as a result of that chase. And the police are still fighting us about putting a plaque up. The police want the words police chase removed and tragic accident to replace them. That is not going to happen. So the harassment continues." And Ray fought hard to get justice for TJ. It's approximately 4:43, and I remember getting that quote as I was sitting on a bench in Sydney during the trial of the Hickey family at around 2011. And that quote actually went into an article that I wrote for the Freedom Socialist Organiser at the time.
We've got a common enemy. The same government that locks up these refugees just behind us here at the Park Hotel is the same government that's going for our rights, trying to attack the very limited gains that casuals have. And so when union activists take up the cause of refugees amongst their fellow workers, it's not an act of charity. It's about building workers' united self-defence mechanism, understanding that we're all part of the same battle.
Subscribe to 3CR in 2021. Feed Radical Radio. Subscribe today. Go to 3cr.org.au/subscribe. or call the station on 9419 8377.
And you're back with the Doing Time show. And in case listeners have just tuned in, it's 4:44 p.m. and we're doing a memorial show for Ray Jackson, who was an amazing warrior and Indigenous activist. And just to wrap, we're going to be wrapping up the show fairly soon, but just wanted to read out a little bit more. So the Indigenous Social Justice Association, Isja, in Sydney, led many courageous campaigns against Aboriginal and other racialised deaths in custody, holding state institutions to account and supporting the families of the bereaved. Over 4 decades through both his activism and his writing, Uncle Ray Jackson insisted on and developed the linkages between justice for Aboriginal peoples and a range of other social movements such as Black Power and anti-apartheid, prison abolition, trade unionism and socialism. The tributes paid to him by figures such as Angela Davis and John Pilger testify to this indispensable globalist dimension that framed his life and work. The invasion of the Aboriginal nations that began in January 1788 continues to this day. After time, it also allowed, under statute, a xenophobic and racist law that was used against my peoples and immigrants, refugees, especially if they were not white, in a social understanding. Ray Jackson, open letter to Kevin Rudd, MP, August the 5th, 2013, I beg your pardon. Uncle Ray's life work against settler colonial racist violence in all its global ramifications is best exemplified in the Aboriginal Passports campaign he initiated in 2010. And we talked about that earlier on in the show. So I'm just going to actually tell you where that came from, because some of those quotes that I read out were actually compiled. There were some quotes from the speech I made at the memorial in June 2014 that Isja organised, but well, not just Isja, but Friends of Ray Jackson. And some of the quotes that I actually drew upon were from Talk Loud, Talk Strong, and it was a tribute to Aboriginal leader Uncle Ray Jackson, and it was actually from in a magazine called, it was a Borderlands special issue dedicated to the politics of human suffering and including a tribute to the leader Uncle Ray Jackson. It's approximately 4:47 and I'm just going to go into another announcement.
What we're dealing with here is a total lack of respect for the law.
Tune in to Done by Law.
An informal and irreverent look at the law. Critical insights and analysis from diverse community perspectives.
Done by Law, 6 p.m. Tuesdays.
We've got a common enemy. The same government that locks up these refugees just behind us here at the Park Hotel is the same government that's going for our rights, trying to attack the very limited gains that casuals have. And so when union activists take up the cause of refugees amongst their fellow workers, it's not an act of charity. It's about building workers' united self-defence mechanism, understanding that we're all part of the same battle.
Subscribe to 3CR in 2021. Feed Radical Radio. Subscribe today. Go to 3cr.org.au/subscribe or call the station on 9419 8377.
We've got a common enemy. The same government that locks up these refugees just behind us here at the Park Hotel.
what to do. You can't break my bone by putting me down. Oh, oh, oh. Or by taking the things that belong to me. 'Cause we have survived the white man's way out, and the heart and the torment of it all. We have survived the white man's way out, and you know you can't change that. All the years has just passed me by. Oh, oh, oh. I've been hassled by the cops nearly all my life. People trying to keep me so blind. Oh, oh, oh. But I can see what's going on in my mind. 'Cause we have survived the white man's way out, and the heart and the torment of it all. We have survived the white man's way out, and you know you can't change that. You can't change the rhythm of my soul. Oh, 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 oh. You can't tell me to what to do. You can't break my bone by putting me down. Oh, oh, oh. Or by taking the things that belong to me. 'Cause we have survived the white man's way out, and the heart and the torment of it all. We have survived the white man's way out, and you know you can't change that.
Indeed, and we're nearing the end of our show. That was actually We Have Survived by No Fixed Address. It's approximately 4:53, and we're going to be going out with our theme song very soon with Black Fella, White Fella by the Rumpy Band. But before we do that, I just wanted to especially thank Carolyn Jackson and also Lizzie from Isja Sydney for coming onto the show and and giving us such wonderful tributes to Ray Jackson. And also a shout out to Joseph Pugliese, who was unable to come. He usually comes onto the show every year to honour Ray Jackson, and he couldn't come today. He had overriding commitments that he had to have, and I wanted to just give a shout out to Joseph Pugliese and his family. It's approximately 4:54. Also a shout out to Pete and Rob as well, who are also part of the Doing Time team and were unable to attend this very special memorial show today, but they also honour him as well. We've got about 3 minutes left of our show. Stay tuned every Monday from 4 till 5 for the Doing Time show, and we'll be going out now pretty soon, as I said, with our theme song, Black Fella, White Fella by the Rumpy Band. And it's goodbye from Marisa. And Ray, may you walk your lands in peace. Always was, always will be, Aboriginal land.
You've been listening to a 3CR podcast produced in the studios of independent community radio station 3CR in Melbourne, Australia. For more information, go to allthews.3cr.org.au.